The India-US trade deal has triggered a furious political face-off between the leader of the opposition and the government. Adding to the controversy was the meeting of Rahul Gandhi with farmers at the Parliament office over the deal's framework. Now, Union Minister Hardeep Singh Puri teared into Rahul Gandhi during a media interview. He said, and I quote, "Congress leader was jealous that India is doing well because he does not believe in the aspirations of the people." Also hitting out at the government over the trade deal with the United States, Rahul Gandhi alleged that the deal could harm farmers as well as food security. Rahul Gandhi met farm union leaders from across the country in the Parliament complex and discussed with them the need for a countrywide movement to oppose the pact. And criticizing the Congress MP's move, Union Minister Piyush Goyal said that the meeting was aimed at confusing hardworking annadatas and provoking them.
नमस्कार। कल मैंने कहा कि जो किसान है वो हिंदुस्तान की नींव है, फाउंडेशन है, और फूड सिक्योरिटी के लिए कांग्रेस पार्टी और हिंदुस्तान लड़ी थी। नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने हमारी फूड सिक्योरिटी, हमारे किसानों को धोखा दिया है। यूएस के साथ डील करके उन्होंने कपास के किसानों को, सोया के किसानों को, सेब के किसानों को, फल के किसानों को बेच दिया है। हिंदुस्तान की कृषि मार्केट पर सालों से विदेश के लोग कब्जा मारने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने उनके लिए दरवाजा खोला है। ये सच्चाई है, वो भी जानते हैं, मैं भी जानता हूं।
Friends, Mr. Rahul Gandhi has once again rolled out a stage-managed, most artificial and fake narrative. This time, he's shooting from the shoulders of a few Congress party activists who are pretending to be farmer leaders in a completely artificial and baseless conversation. You can see them taking the microphone around, recording the interaction, probably based on a predetermined script, because every claim they have made is false.
राहुल गांधी लगातार झूठ बोल रहे हैं, बार बार बोल रहे हैं, बेशर्मी से झूठ बोल रहे हैं, और वीडियो से भी उनका झूठ साफ नजर आता है। झूठ बोलकर किसानों को गुमराह करने की असफल कोशिश कर रहे हैं, देशवासियों के बीच भ्रम पैदा करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। लेकिन मैं पूरे दावे के साथ कहता हूं, भारत और अमेरिका के बीच जो समझौता हुआ है उसमें देश के हितों को सर्वोपरि रखा गया है। हमारे एमएसएमई, हमारे स्टार्टअप्स, हमारे किसान, हमारे कारीगर, हमारे मछुआरे, सबके हितों की पूरी तरह से रक्षा की गई है।
And that's not all. Union Minister Hardeep Singh Puri also teared into Rahul Gandhi during a media interview. As I mentioned earlier, he said, and I quote, "Congress leader was jealous that India is doing well because he does not believe in the aspirations of the people." And hitting out at the government, Rahul Gandhi has alleged that the deal is harmful to farmers and the food security in India. And criticizing his move was the Union Minister Piyush Goyal, who said that the meeting was in fact aimed at confusing annadatas and provoking them.
आज निराश है, भ्रम फैलाने के अलावा उनके पास कोई योजना नहीं है, कोई ठोस सुझाव नहीं है। यहां तक कि झूठ और फरेब के अलावा हमारी आलोचना करने के लिए भी उनके पास कोई मुद्दा नहीं है। मैं देख रहा हूं एक के बाद एक रोज झूठी बातें बोलकर हमारे अन्नदाताओं को भ्रमित करने की कोशिश करते हैं। लेकिन मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि राहुल गांधी जैसे डिस्क्रेडिटेड नेता और उनका जो अलायंस है, जिसमें तृणमूल कांग्रेस पश्चिम बंगाल की, डीएमके तमिलनाडु की, समाजवादी पार्टी यूपी की, ये सब जो एक प्रकार से जनता ने ठुकराई हुई पार्टियां हैं, ये लाख कोशिश कर लें प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी को सेवा और कर्तव्य भाव से देश की सेवा, देश का उज्जवल भविष्य, 140 करोड़ लोगों के सपनों को साकार करने से और भारत को विकसित और समृद्ध भारत बनाने से कोई रोक नहीं सकता। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
And further up, Rahul Gandhi has alleged that Bangladesh has been open to zero-duty textiles if it purchases yarn or cotton directly from the US. Union Minister Piyush Goyal replied to the Congress leader saying that Indian exporters purchase cotton yarn from the US and Indian textiles can also be exported to the US at zero duty. And this is not a recent provision. The SEZ law was passed by the Congress government itself. Slamming Rahul Gandhi over his criticism of the trade deal with the US, which he described as a wholesale surrender and a sellout of Bharat Mata, Union Minister Hardeep Singh Puri said that Congress leader was jealous that India is doing well because he does not believe in the aspirations of the people. Also responded, and a response came in by Shivraj Singh Chouhan, a Union Agriculture Minister, who said that the Congress leader is trying to mislead farmers by lying to them repeatedly. He categorically stated that if India-US trade deal goes through, it will be for the benefit of the country. The rights of our MSMEs, startups, farmers, craftsmen and fishermen have been protected. That's what the Union Agriculture Minister said. So it is the opposition versus BJP playing out, in fact, in full course as far as the India-US deal is concerned. Joining me on the show is Manish Baria, spokesperson for the BJP. Also joining is Nikhil Jain, advocate and a senior political analyst. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for taking time out this afternoon. Let me first begin by asking you, Manish Baria, I think it's a fundamental question a lot of journalists are asking today. If you compare India-US deal vis-a-vis when you compare a Bangladesh, US deal, it does appear that Bangladesh seemed to have gotten a sweeter deal and it could harm our garments and textile industry.
No, it is not correct. Good afternoon to you and good afternoon to Nikhil ji and all the viewers. In fact, he is deliberately comparing two different trade profiles. If you look at Bangladesh 0% tariff access to the US, it is very conditional, it is narrow, and it is product specific. It is tied to its LDC status and there are compliance obligations. India is not an LDC. It has a much larger domestic market and stronger farmer protection laws, and it negotiates as an equal, strategic equal. So, but then is this the first time that Rahul Gandhi is spreading these kind of false narratives in the country? He masters probably in half-truths, and that's what he's doing. So he's just comparing, chalk with cheese, and people have seen through it. So, this is not correct what he has said, and probably like every time he will have to, apologize for all these things.
I have to ask you, you're saying it's a blatant lie, but the fact of the matter is that Bangladesh textile, its garments are going to attract a 0% tariff if the Bangladesh as a country decide to import more yarn and cotton from the US. And many ministers from Bangladesh, including the interim government, has stated that they want to do that. So in a sense, that makes Bangladeshi garments way more cheaper compared to Indian garments in the US.
See, that's not the point, Shraddha. See, we have to understand that there are many African countries for which when they export to US, then they have 0% tariff. And once upon a time, even India used to get the similar
Our competition is Bangladesh when it comes to garments and textiles, sir. I mean, from a very economic point of view, since this is only about the deal, we are competing with Bangladesh when it comes to garments.
Let me clarify again. It's not about Bangladesh. The point I'm trying to say that its 0% tariff is not a part of a deal. It's because it is a LDC. It's a least developing country. 30 years, 40 years back, even India used to get those kind of MFN status, which is the most favored nation status. India is no more that kind of a country. And therefore, we negotiate a deal for countries like Bangladesh. They have these kind of status. So these are two different things we are talking. And that's why you see that. But Rahul Gandhi didn't bother, or maybe he didn't know that this is there. And that's why he's spreading these fake news. And that's why I'm saying that it's a two very different situation.
Okay. Nikhil Jain, I think you heard what Mr. Baria had to say, that it's a different situation. You're comparing an apple and an orange. For that matter, India has the lowest tariff duty anywhere in South Asia at 18%. Bangladesh still has a 19%. And as far as garments is concerned, it's conditional. He's right. It really depends on how much of a quota and to what extent, Bangladesh continue importing yarn and cotton from the US, and the freight charges will still be way, way higher. So in a way, he is right. You're dealing with a country of an economic magnitude of India, touching at least a $5 trillion economy in just a couple of years from now. You cannot be comparing India to a Bangladesh.
It's absolutely incorrect, Shweta, and I'll tell you why. First of all, I take strong objection to BJP leaders claiming that farmer leaders having a discussion with the leader of opposition is some sort of a event, staged, scripted event between some political stooges. I think that is a gross disrespect to the farmers. And I would much rather have our Commerce Minister and Agriculture Minister focus on their portfolios of commerce and agriculture rather than focus on the ministry of Rahul Gandhi. I think already Anurag Thakur and Nishikant Dubey are handling it very well. The point being made here is that Bangladesh doesn't have any extra concessions. Bangladesh is a different sort of a country. They are a least developing country, and we are not. That is an absolute lie. Our GDP per capita is $3,051, and Bangladesh's GDP per capita is $2,950. We are very similar sort of countries. And as you correctly mentioned, that so far as garment and textile exports concerned, Bangladesh and India are key competitors. Bangladesh was nowhere near India when Modi government took power, but right now it is actually leading over India. Now, an argument is made that Bangladesh will benefit from a zero tariff import of its products into the US only if they purchase cotton from US and not otherwise, while India doesn't even have a concession like that, number one. Number two, the wholesale price of cotton in the US is $1.37 per kilo. And for India, that is about $2.2. So far as the freight costs are concerned, that are about one and a half. So the price of US cotton, even if it is imported into Bangladesh and then made into garment products, Bangladeshi products on US store would be cheaper than Indian products by a whole of 18%. So far as the statements of the Commerce Minister and the Agriculture Minister are concerned that we have completely protected the interests of farmers and this and that, these are very vague and floozy statements.
Let me then ask you, what is so vague about saying that as far as agri sector is concerned, we continue to protect, essentially pulses, wheat, rice, grain, everything that is essential to India's agriculture output, all of those sectors continue to be protected?
Shweta, the statement is simply saying that we have protected the interest of our farmers. The deal is great for farmers. The deal is great for startups. They're not explaining how. Have they told us?
But you're not explaining how it's not protected. You're not explaining to what extent it's exposed. Yes.
No, I'm sorry. I will explain it. First of all, whatever details and particulars of the deal that we have, we don't have any of it from the government of India. We only have it from the US government. It first starts with the statement of Donald Trump, where he says that India will move to a zero tariff regime. Then it comes with the statement of the Agricultural Secretary of the US, who talks about pushing agricultural exports from the US into India. Then in the latest fact sheet that was published on the White House on the India-US joint trade deal, it again talks about how India will move towards eliminating and reducing tariffs on products, including agricultural products. And let's not forget that the wholesale price of wheat, of corn, and a whole number of other agricultural products is substantially lower than what it is in India, given the different natures of farming. We have an average farm size of 2 acres.
Absolutely.
They have 466 acres.
No, there's no doubt about that. There's no doubt about that, Nikhil. I think we all agree that India's agriculture sector cannot be open to cheap US goods. I think there's an agreement on that. Let me quickly get in a reaction from Manish Parrier on that. Yes.
See, I'll tell you something which is very core to this entire deal. First of all, I think you have to ask Nikhilji to first ensure that Rahul Gandhi doesn't speak from old fact sheets. Even in parliament, he actually goes to the old things and then he speaks. But anyway, coming back to the main issue, see, MSP and procurement and domestic, these are safeguards that remain fully intact. And these are the ones which decides whether farmers have been protected or not. Now, please ask him whether there is any change in MSP or any commitment by India on MSP. Is there anything on procurement? Anything on domestic safeguards? Nothing has changed. Nothing. There is no, even in cotton, there is no binding clause in an India-US trade deal that mandate us to actually import cotton. But it is there in Bangladesh, if you really want to know about it. So, one has to understand that what Congress party has done over a period of time. Right. For us, we have ensured that our agriculture, our farmers are protected. And Congress party has a long history of not doing anything for farmers. We have Kisan credit cards.
You know,
We have so many things
not
out there.
history of
What
not
they
doing.
have
I think
done
that's a very
for farmers.
that's
In
a
fact,
Very
paintbrush
wrong, Manish.
statement. Unfortunately, I think the country wasn't just developed in the last 10 years, Manish. But I think you'll have to
Green
accept
revolution,
I would
that
like to
revolution.
clarify.
the foundations
When we
of
talk
this
about
great
farmers, Let
country.
me complete. Let me complete. I'm sorry. Just 5 seconds for this.
Right.
Now, see, we have record MSP hikes, highest ever cotton procurement. You have PM Kisan direct transfers. You have stronger export competitiveness. Right. What has Congress Party done? Fear narratives, half datas, zero alternative trade networks, and in fact, I remember ASEAN, some of the things which we have trade agreements during Congress period. It harmed our competitiveness as far as manufacturing is concerned.
Okay.
It was so bad. Now you compare that with what our government has done. You will see a huge difference in the way we have actually negotiated these deals.
All right.
And I'm not talking only from the point of view of BJP. Even as a student at Indian Institute of Foreign Trade, we used to talk about all these things at that time also. Right.
Okay.
For example,
you know, as
as
a student of journalism, I also have to say, I mean, from what I've learned about the history of this great country, that it wasn't built in a day. It's been 78 years of independence. You can't just, write off what the previous governments have done. We didn't become $4 trillion
we have
economy.
examples of blunders being done by
We
Congress,
did not
and
become
I'm
a $4 trillion economy in a
saying
matter
that
of last 10
blunders
years.
have been done.
Okay.
And that needs to be pointed out.
Blunders need to be pointed out, 100%. I agree completely. Nikhil Jain, I think fact of the matter is, if you look at the revised fact sheet, India's not saying we've made any commitment. India's saying we intend to do a lot of things. It may not happen. But clearly, the initial agreement has not, the details haven't really come out. All you have is a fact sheet, and what you have is also a joint statement. Wait for the final deal to come out before you start leveling, those allegations that India's agriculture sector has been opened up.
Peter, first of all, the latest fact sheet that is available, published on the 9th of February on the White House website, does talk about India committing to not buy Russian oil. It does talk about eliminating and reducing tariff on food and agricultural products, including red sorghum, tree nuts, fresh and processed fruit, soybean oil, wine and spirits, additional products, dried distillers' grains. These are explicitly mentioned as being included. Of course,
Wheat,
there are
that's
other
not
things that may be
corn,
included
that's not,
as well.
yeah, but that's not corn, that's not wheat, that's not maize, that's not pulses.
That is true.
Right?
That is what, no, Shweta, that is the point that I'm trying to make, that this is including, it is not an exhaustive list. It specifically mentions these products. It is not saying that wheat or corn or any other product is not included or is protected. So far as the protections for farmers in India is concerned, Manish makes a point about MSP. First of all, it was the Congress government that brought in the MSP regime. Secondly, MSP does not cover the entire agricultural sector in India. The total value of agricultural products in India is about 24 lakh crores a year. MSP procurement is only 3 lakh crores per year. What happens? 26 lakh crores, 26 and 3 lakh crores. What happens to the remaining 23 lakh crores? They have to sell in the market, and they have to deal with market forces. And those market forces would really turn against them if tariffs are reduced or non-tariff barriers are eliminated against American agricultural products. Manish talks about how we've been negotiating as strategic equals. I really don't think we are negotiating as strategic equals, but because when the Commerce Minister is asked what are the details of the US-India trade deal, he says, I don't know, ask the Foreign Minister. When the Foreign Minister is asked, he says, I don't know, ask
pointedly on the Russian oil. That question was on the Russian oil. I think the Commerce Minister
but
clarified on the other aspects.
All of them must know, and there's no statement from the Indian side. And lastly, on the manufacturing competence and agriculture, Congress not doing anything about that. Let me remind Manish of the Green Revolution, of the White Revolution that came about in the 60s. Let me remind you that most of the
Thank you for those history lessons.
And now it is irrigated. We've gone
Thank you very much for the history lessons. I think we're going to come back to what we are discussing right now. I'm going to give last 30 seconds. I've completely run out of time. Last 30 seconds. Yes, Manish. Last 30 seconds for you to respond.
First time in so many years, India's actual map has been shown, including Akshay Chin, including the entire Kashmir. Right? It never happened during the Congress regime.
Okay.
Please mention that also. That's
No.
very important for viewers
No,
to
I'm
know.
sorry. What are you saying, Manish? We've always published our entire full map. In fact, it was a BJP handle that once accidentally, I presume, published the map of India without proof.
As much as I'm enjoying listening to the two of you, I'm sure our audience is also richer, by the virtue of the facts and your experiences. But I've completely run out of time. Thank you very much, Manish Pariyar and Nikhil Jain, for taking time out this afternoon.